Okay. I hope you got a call from Airbus regarding the interview schedule from
Sorry.
2:30.
Morning, I wasn't able to attend that call since I was in office.
Okay.
Can we have that right now?
Yeah. So you're free for another 30 minutes, right?
Yeah, sure. I'm free for another 30 minutes.
Okay. So I have one more colleague with me,
Mm-hmm.
who will also be taking interview along with me.
Okay.
Hi.
Hello.
Okay. So can we start with your
sure.
previous experience, like what you are right now doing in DevOps in your current organization?
Yeah. I'm Mohan. Like I've been working as a DevOps engineer for the last 3 years with TCS client. So I've been working on 2 different projects. Both are insurance related projects, and both are Java based applications. So I have my roles and responsibilities in my first projects were much limited. I was working on Ant builder tool and Java Jenkins. That's it. I was mostly concentrating on my Jenkins tool in my first project, but in my second project, I got an opportunity to start from the scratch, setting up your GitHub and then your build tool. Right now in my current project, I'm using Maven build tool, setting up your Maven build tool, and then creating your Nexus proxy repositories and creating a Nexus repository to store your Docker images likewise. So maintaining your complete private repository, like I have configured that thing, and then I have configured this SonarQube server. As you may know, that SonarQube server is used to do the source code quality management test. So in SonarQube server, like I have configured quality gates and profiles. I have in quality gates and profiles, we are using this Java project, right? So once it's a Java project, it has some 564 rules. So out of that, from client's requirement point of view, I'll get that input and I'll configure this quality profile and gates as well as, and then I have extensively worked on this Jenkins CI/CD tool. Jenkins is an automated tool which is used to automate everything. For example, pulling your code from GitHub, building it, and then creating artifacts and pushing your artifacts to your Nexus repository. And once it's done, it pushes the particular project to the SonarQube server for report generation. And then after that, it will create we have configured Docker with that Jenkins also, so it will create a Docker image, and then it purely deploys. So we are following CI/CD. D means delivery. Yeah, hello.
Yeah. Can you explain about your project?
My project?
Yes. Basic. Don't want deep. Just basic rough idea.
So the current project which I am working is for State Farm. That's an insurance-related project. So we are especially working on a web-based application. So everything is like the base of Java. So we create var files. Okay. Then we deploy it through Docker containers alone. We are not using the traditional approach to deploy in any application servers. We are deploying this application using Docker containers. And for maintaining for orchestrating the Docker containers, we are using Docker Swarm. And our client requirement is we have to test this in 2 different environments. For example, like in on-prem servers and as well as in AWS environment. So what I work mostly on, I work on this Nexus artifact repository management, complete management, and Jenkins build automation, and then Docker deployment. So what I do is I concentrate on this on-prem server deployment alone. So how this AWS deployment does is we create our custom Docker image, and I'll push this Docker image to the Nexus repository. From Nexus repository, our AWS team will have access to that repository, and they'll pull that image and deploy as a Docker container. AWS also for testing purpose. And in AWS also.
Okay. Can you explain? What is roles and responsibilities daily?
Daily. Yeah. My daily activity would be currently I'm working on this project. Under that project, commonly we have a team of 6 members. So we take care of this 160 jobs. Okay. So most probably a day-to-day activity would be I'll be looking on my ServiceNow window for any tickets assigned to me. So the tickets would be any build-related issues or this Nexus support-related issues likewise. Or else I once in a week I'll attend this Scrum meeting with my manager, regarding this week's routine work, and if there is anything need to be updated on the last week's Scrum meeting likewise. So these are my day-to-day activities.
I think it is more or into support, I guess, right?
Yeah, no, I work on support as well as job creation also. It's like I told you, no, the current project which I've been working is, I was set up this particular DevOps environment from the scratch onwards. So once the job is built and it's running means, then you will automatically do the support role. So if it's a new job, then I'll do that automated build. And if the build is like triggering or it automatically, then you'll have some issues regarding this build and something. So I'll do support also. Like we don't in our project we don't have an access to prod environment. We'll work up to that pre-prod environment.
Okay, your backend is in Java.
Yeah, my project is in Java.
Is it microservices or it's monolith?
No, microservice architecture. See, since we are deploying in Docker containers, it's microservice architecture.
Yeah. How many microservices you have?
What?
Microservices. I mean, you mean to say that your project running on microservices?
160.
160. So you guys are deploying in the blue-green deployment?
No, not blue-green deployment. We are using Docker. So once you use Docker, there is no need for blue-green deployment. If you want to you want to update your application, you can use that rolling update option from your Docker Swarm. It's very easy.
I want to know exact your branching strategy or the production release strategy.
Yeah,
yeah. 150 microservices, so it's not easy to deploy all the microservices in one shot because we need to follow some strategies to go to the production. Have you done any production deployments?
What?
Production deployments?
No. As I told you right now, no, like we don't have access for product environment.
Only dev environment,
Yeah, only up to pre-prod environment.
Okay.
So if you want me to explain about the branching strategy which we follow two different branching strategies. One is master branch and then another one is development branch. So very simple. So once the developer pushes all his codes to the development branch, we'll take that particular code and through CI/CD pipeline we automate that and we'll generate the artifacts, and then we'll deploy first only on dev environment servers. So once it gets a sign-off mail from the dev environment server, then once again we'll build this particular project in UAT test and QA environment servers, and I'll deploy on that particular environments for testing purposes. So the testers will work on that particular deployment. Once we get a sign-off mail from the testing team, then we'll merge that particular development branch with master branch. And in the master branch now you will get a clean code. So from master branch we'll build that particular job and we'll deploy in pre-prod environment. For example, if you get any small related, very very small bug related issues from your pre-prod.
Just fine.
Okay. So how about in Jenkins? Have you configured anything in Jenkins? Have you worked on Jenkins deployment?
Yes. Then Jenkins deployment, I told you, I have automated everything, pulling my code from GitHub until deploy. So, we have configured this pipeline job. We are working on pipelines and not pre-sale job. So, how pipeline works?
I was asking about the Jenkins deployment, the Jenkins server deployment.
Installation?
Yeah.
You want me to explain about the installation, Jenkins installation?
Yeah, how you guys are using it? Are you just running it like a Java jar?
No.
Are you using any web service for that?
No. We are running this Jenkins as a service.
Okay.
Service. Okay. We are running this on on-prem servers, Red Hat server. On top of Red Hat server, we are running Jenkins as a service. You can run this Jenkins, or you can install this Jenkins using a generic RPM file, or you can get that Jenkins var and you can deploy it in any Tomcat server or any application server and you can run it. But we are not doing that approach. We are going with service approach. We have installed that Jenkins as a service in our Red Hat server and we are using that. But what you are asking, are you getting any service, Jenkins related service or automated service from cloud providers, right? Like code deploy, likewise, right?
Not exactly. I just want to know how you guys install Jenkins. Somebody use reverse proxy and configure their Jenkins service, and somebody just directly install it as service. So I just want to know if you guys are aware of.
Yeah, we installed Jenkins. Yeah, we installed Jenkins as a service. Not only we have 3 different nodes Jenkins nodes also. We follow this master-slave architecture. We install it as a service.
Okay, so it means like your team takes care of the installation and the configuration part, or like some other team takes care of it?
No, I told, like I got an opportunity to configure. So whoever is interested means then they can take part in this configuration also. Like I have configured, I have built a job, and I'll do all the supporting tools also in my project.
Okay. So like, so you guys have written any Ansible scripts?
Yeah, we use Ansible.
For any automation or like...
We use Ansible in our project, but only for purely configuration management alone, not for deployment.
Okay, can you just explain the Ansible structure?
You mean the YML structure?
The Ansible skeleton structure, like you have roles and all the other stuff, right?
I'll explain. So the first and foremost thing in an Ansible is your inventory file. Like you will get that in an inventory file in /etc/Ansible/host. So the host is the inventory file where you will like feed your slave machine details, like your slave server details. So the slave server, you can establish communication between your master Ansible and your slave through 3 different methods. One by using, if it's an AWS service, you can use that PEM file method. Okay. Or any cloud service method, you can use the key file method. Or in our on-prem servers, we are using this username and password approach. Or either you can enable a passwordless communication between your master slave, Ansible master and your slave machine. So that's the first and foremost thing, inventory file. And after that, then you can write an YAML file, YML or YAML file. So in your YAML file, the first and foremost thing you're going to mention is your host. Who is your host? If it's all, then it will take all the slave as a host. So in my host inventory file, you can like club your type of servers into a group also. So that's the thing, first and foremost thing I'm gonna like mention in my YML file. And apart from that, we have few modules like if it's a configuration module, if it's a installation, if your client servers are like Red Hat servers or this Debian Real-Time servers, then you can use the M module, or if it's an Ubuntu server, you can use a APT module. Like as you have like a different models.
Okay. That is fine. I just need the skeleton.
Architecture, right?
Yeah.
Oh, like.
Is that like inventory file, right? Like like that. Like how is the structure? Like how is the file? How is the folder structure?
So you are asking about roles, right?
Yeah, just explain me about the role structure.
And also in Ansible roles, you will have a default, and then tasks, and then files. You have templates. You have vars. So the difference between file and the template is, if it's in file, you can store your static like HTML contents. If it's a template, then you can store your dynamic contents. So in default, you can define the local variable. For example, in vars folder, you can define the variable for group vars or host vars.
So what about vault file?
Vault is used to like encrypt your password. So like if it's any content related to prone to like what you can say, highly secured file, you can use Ansible Vault. What Ansible Vault does is it will encrypt your particular file, so that if anyone gets an access also, you will not be able to see. You can use Ansible Vault. For example, in host file, I'm going to mention my slave server's username and password. If I keep my password as it is, like if anyone gets an access to the particular host file, they can be able to access that particular thing. So what I'll do is, like, I'll inside a group parts folder, I'll define a variable, and inside that variable I'll save the password for my slave machines. So I'll call that variable in that host file, and then I'll encrypt that particular host file. I'll encrypt the complete host file using Ansible Vault. Ansible Vault encrypt that particular host file. Then it will ask for a password to like encrypt. You can secure that particular file.
Okay, and like we are like checking your profile right now. And like you have mentioned that like configuring and maintaining a source code management repository for GitHub. So how is that? Like you just take care of your repository, or like you take care of GitHub administration?
Yeah, like I work with like little bit administration. For example, like creating repositories, creating a group, and assigning the developers to that particular group. Likewise, I worked on.
Okay.
Can you explain about your DevOps pipeline architecture? I mean, so Jenkins.
So yeah, in Jenkins, you
everything. Starting from beginning Git, from next flow. Can you explain that?
So you want me to like explain that pipeline flow, right?
Yes. I mean, to connecting all the dots. I mean, you mentioned Ansible and Docker some for deployment, so that's to connect from end to end. Can you explain that?
Yeah. Yes. So I use pipeline jobs mostly. I will not do this freestyle project. So you have like freestyle project, manual project.
Have you written Jenkins file?
Yeah.
You're following scripted or declarative pipeline?
Yeah, we are using this scripter, Groovy script.
Which script?
Groovy.
I mean, is it declarative or scripted?
Scripted way.
What is the difference between declarative and scripted?
In scripted way, it starts with node and you can go on stage by stage. But if it's a declarative way, within a stage you can write multiple steps.
Declarative, okay. I mean, declarative means you can write multiple, but
scripted means starting once and you have to write stage by stage. But in declarative, within a stage you can write multiple steps.
Okay.
We are using this scripted approach. We are using with Groovy scripting.
Okay. You can carry on with your the pipeline.
Yeah, sure. Like if it's a pipeline project, normally the pipeline project starts with node. Okay, so since we have using this master and slave architecture in our Jenkins, we'll mention.
No. Just I'm asking just the once developer commit the code, so you have the
yes. The flow is like the first and foremost thing is you will pull the code from the GitHub. That's the first stage you're gonna work with. Once you have done with pulling the code, you're gonna build your particular job. So building that job, you have to configure your build tool. So we have gone with Maven build tool. So we have configured that Maven build tool. Once you have configured that, you can call that Maven build tool in a pipeline script, and you can do clean install or clean package, anything else. So once you have built your artifact, the next thing is you have to store your artifacts, your build artifacts in your Nexus repository. So I'm going to use a Nexus repository to store my artifacts. Once it is done, I'll publish my results or I'll publish my reports. The build reports to SonarQube server. I'll push my complete code to SonarQube server. So the SonarQube server will generate that HTML report. And in between that, I'll configure Jacoco plugin. So why we configure this Jacoco plugin is like once my code doesn't cover this coverage percentage, like for example, we use 85% of code coverage in our project. If it doesn't cover that particular 85%, automatically your build artifacts will not be like deployed. Okay, it will build artifact, but it will not let that artifact to be deployed. So that the Jacoco plugin takes care of that, like the passed code, the code which has passed has been deployed likewise. So once that particular Jacoco plugin it passes, then automatically what we'll do is like we'll create that Docker image using that Docker file. We'll keep Docker file in our GitHub itself. So once in that GitHub, while pulling your code also, your Docker file will be there by default. So through that Docker file, you can build your Docker image. Once that image is built, we'll push that particular Docker, like our custom Docker image to Nexus Docker repository. Okay, in our private repository, we'll keep a copy of our custom Docker image. Once we keep a copy, and then through my Jenkins itself, I'll automate, like I'll instruct my Docker Swarm manager to pull that particular custom image and deploy it in different modes. If it's a global mode or a replica mode, or if you want to deploy it in an individual server using labels, you can do that.
Then where Ansible comes into picture here?
Yeah, I told you, like Ansible we are using only purely for configuration management, not deployment.
I mean, this infra is different and application is different.
Yeah, if your application needs to be updated somewhere, something for that only we are using Ansible, not for deployment. If you deploy using Ansible, automatically you can't manage that particular Docker container. You have to deploy it in using only Docker Swarm. So the Docker Swarms, it monitors to your Docker containers whether it's running or not. Like if in any internal reason that particular container crashes, automatically your Docker Swarm will restart that particular Docker container. But if you deploy it using Ansible, it will deploy, but it will not monitor your Docker container. That's the problem with Ansible.
Yeah. Yours is a web application, right?
What? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yours is web application. I mean, yours is website.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So, how can you deploy zero downtime?
How can you deploy?
With using zero downtime, I mean, I don't want any downtime of my website, so I have to upgrade your website.
Yeah. So without downtime means in Docker Swarm, I'll go with this rollback update approach.
Okay, what it will do?
So what that rollback update will do is, like, consider I'm like running this particular application, like, or particularly my web application in 4 different servers. The 4 different servers are like connected to an ELB, and through that common ELB, your end users are accessing it. I'll configure this Docker rollback update as first I'll update the first 2 servers. While updating, the second 2 servers will be completely running. Okay. While update, for example, the current version is 1.0 version is running on all the 4 servers. I have a new version 2.0. So first I will update it in the first 2 servers. Okay, so once it is updated and it is up and running, I'll give a downtime, or not a downtime, but a delay time updating this 3rd and 4th server. I'll define all these things in my Docker rollback update mechanism. So once I define,
I mean now, for example, your website is version number 1 and version number 2 is deployed. So you're saying like you just route the traffic from 1 to 2, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes. Am I correct? I mean, you're deploying from 1 to 2. I mean, just routing the traffic from 1 to 2.
No,
right?
I wouldn't say like I would route the traffic.
I mean, so how you switch that from this to that?
It runs as an individual Docker image, right, in the container, right? So these 4 containers, what it will do is, all the 4 containers are very same, okay? Same containers. The first 2 containers will stop. So once the first 2 containers are stopped, the remaining 3rd and 4th containers still up and running, and it's successful by the end user. Okay. At the meantime, what I'll do is I'll remove the first 2 containers and I'll update with version 2.0. Once that version 2.0 is up and running, I'll give a delay. I will give a delay updating the 3rd and 4th servers. So this delay, in between this delay, I will recheck that first and second container, that version 2.0 container, whether it's working properly or not. I'll do the health check and everything. Once it is perfectly fine, then I'll route the traffic from 3rd and 4th to the 1 and 2. And I'll take this 3rd and 4th server and I'll stop that particular container, so I'll update it. This is like automated. Your Docker Swarm will take care of all these things.
Yeah, you are saying like just routing from first 2 containers and you're switching to that 3-4 containers.
Yes.
So you're saying like you don't get any downtime while routing.
No. If you use this Docker rolling update approach, you will not get any downtime.
Yeah. For example, say if it is a banking website, so I make a call. So I'm making the transaction from one account to other account. So then call is made to the version number 1 product. So you are taking down your container once call is already there. So that time you are switching in the sense you are closing. I mean you are stopping your first 2 containers, which is version number 1, because you have to route the traffic to 2. My call is already went. So if you are switching down, so obviously call will fail. So because user will face the problem. Yes. So how can you mean? You are saying like without downtime, but it is downtime. Did you get my question clearly?
Yeah, no, it didn't. Like I'm a little bit confused.
Yeah, you confused. Just wait, I will explain. So you are saying first 2 containers you will deploy. For example, you have 4 containers. Version number 1, okay?
Yes.
So first 2 containers you are deploying. I mean, you're stopping your version number 1 and you deploy version number 2, right?
Yes.
So now few users coming to version number 2 and few users are routing to version number 1. Okay?
Yes.
For example, so when you're taking down first version of 2 containers, so already make the call. So now call is in already the first version. So you're switching down. I mean, you're stopping the container because you have to deploy the new one. So when you're stopping, obviously my transaction will fail. I mean, how many users at the time? Everyone will get failed.
Yeah, so, yes. Like while stopping the containers, like I'll make sure that all the traffic incoming traffic to that particular first two containers are completely stopped. Like all the if an ongoing transaction is doing or going likewise, I'll make
sure that. I mean, how will you make, what is the logic? I mean, you mentioned there.
No, I don't know. I haven't worked on that. Right.
I mean, you're saying like, I mean, you'll make sure that you'll stop all the containers because you cannot stop each and every transaction because it keeps on coming. It's like banking, so you cannot predict all the transactions go up.
Yeah, yes.
So obviously you'll get downtime. But how can we do without downtime this?
Then if it's not a Docker approach, then you can go for that blue-green deployment.
I mean, because you're saying like we are not using blue-green. Yeah, because you're using
this Docker rolling update and rollback approach.
Obviously, site will go down for some time.
No, I didn't get your question.
I mean, obviously you'll get downtime of your production deployment. I mean, whatever the deployment you do.
How will you?
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, no problem.
So regarding scripting language, like what is scripting language that you're familiar with?
Like I have written few shell scripts, but not much since I am working completely on this automated part. In Jenkins, I have written this Groovy scripting.
Okay. So when it comes to automation, Python comes with picture, right?
Yeah, Python comes with picture, but I'm good with this Groovy.
Okay.
And if you want me, then I can learn more. There's no issue in that.
Okay.
For your web application, database is there? The database, I mean, do you know aware of this flyway scripts?
What script?
Flyway scripts, I mean database migration, because we are upgrading one application from your down, stopping to one container to upgrade because database is also attached. If you are stopping down and you are upgrading to the second version, because database also attached to Mitch, because you cannot directly deploy two applications if the database is already attached.
In Docker approach, we use volumes. Straight away, we attach it with volumes. Or if it's like an AWS environment, we use it with EFS.
Volumes is different concept.
Yes.
Because 106 microservices is not a small thing to manage because it's tightly coupled with.
Yes.
Because microservice architecture is coupled with
databases.
You have not managed that?
No, I haven't worked on that database part.
Then how will you deploy in dev environment without database? Because you said like you deployed in dev environment already.
No.
Okay. Then the web application, for example, so if the site is go down once you do the deployment, so your site is no more reachable. So what can you explain this first? What you will check?
Like I deployed through Docker Swarm. It's like if you deploy it through Docker Swarm, see if your site goes down, for example, if a site means if your container goes down, automatically your Docker Swarm will try to run that container, rerun that container in that particular server itself. If you still have that particular same issue, then you have to check your Docker image.
No, I'm asking you, like your website is down for 402 or 500 something. So what steps will and how will you troubleshoot that?
I don't.
Okay. Yeah, how can go back to AWS now?
Yeah.
Okay. So have you worked on VPC?
Yes.
Okay. So you must be aware about the VPC peering, right?
Yes.
Okay. Can we do transitive peering in VPC?
You want me to do peering in VPC?
No, can you do transitive peering? So let's say I have a 3 VPCs, let's say VPC A, VPC B, and VPC C, right?
Okay.
So I wanted to route the traffic through private IP address, right? So from A to B, I have a peering, and B to C, I have a peering.
Okay.
So now I wanted to move the data from C to A. Can I do that with this peering model?
C to A.
Yes.
I think that you can't do that from C to A if you want to like transfer data. If you want to still establish this particular kind of thing with, and then you can go for EFS. In VPC B, you can make a EFS, and then you can mount it in all the VPC regions, and then you can share that particular database in EFS.
What I'm asking is, I am not going to share any file storage. I know I can use EFS for that. So what I'm asking is, let's say I have to make few calls, right? API calls.
Okay.
So I don't need a storage for that. So I have 3 VPCs, and these 3 VPCs, I have 3 EC2 instances. So my peering model is, as of now, from A to B and B to C. Okay. With this model, can I do any API call with the private IP address from A to C?
No, you can't.
Why?
Since it was not straight away peered, right, from A to C.
Okay, so transitive peering is allowed in AWS or not? So,
I think no, I haven't worked on that. I worked on only 2 VPCs, and I have done peering connection. I didn't work on 3 different VPCs and did this transitive peering.
Can I peer VPCs between 2 different accounts?
2 different? Yeah, yes, you can.
Okay, so have you heard the name that in VPC we have flow logs as well?
No, I haven't here.
Okay. Okay, so one more question about, let's say your EC2 instance, if you want to deploy an EC2 instance, you can see 2 checks are there, right? Okay, so have you noticed what are those checks? Let's say if there are 2 checks, one is instance state check,
I have
one is system state check.
Yes.
So if any of the 2 is failing, what should you do at the time?
No, I don't know.
Okay. So have you worked on Route 53?
No, I haven't.
Okay. What is the difference between EBS volume and instance store volume?
A difference between?
EBS volume and instance store volume.
Instance?
Instance store. There is one more volume called instance store. INSTANCE. Instance store.
Store.
Yes, instance store volume.
I think that instance store volume is created once you created instance, but EBS is purely like a block storage. You can create and you can attach it to an instance, and you can detach it and you can
No, see, even if I create an EC2 instance, by default I'll get an EBS volume there, right?
Yeah, yes.
But where this comes from, this instance store volume?
No,
then?
I don't know.
Okay. So, what are the different types of EBS volumes in Amazon? So consider I'm running a database which needs a high number of reads, high reads.
Okay.
Okay, so which EBS volume should I use?
You can use IOPS.
No, IOPS is just, it's not an EBS volume. It's just an input output per second reads. So which, see, there will be a general purpose, there will be GP2, there will be provisioned IOPS.
Yeah.
How many EBS volumes are there if you have worked in EBS?
No.
Okay.
Have you worked on Kubernetes?
No, like hands-on only. I haven't worked extensively. We are not using that Kubernetes on our project. Like, I have a knowledge on Kubernetes. What is there? What is like?
Yeah. Okay. Okay. You're working on sprint model in Agile.
Sorry, like I couldn't get you.
In Agile, I mean, are you working in Agile project?
Yeah, Agile methodology.
How many weeks your sprint?
How many? 2 weeks.
I mean, how long is your sprint? 2 weeks?
2 weeks. Once every 2 weeks.
Okay. How often you will deploy?
How often means?
I mean, production release like every 2 weeks you'll release the production updates, or every 3 months or 2 months, something like that?
No. Every 2 weeks we do in pre-prod only, not production.
Okay, production, how often it will go? Updates, release updates?
So I don't know, but that's for production and like.
Okay. Okay.